Also making the news this weekend, these so-called eco-activists from Action Group Animal Rebellion. Now, they staged what they call milk pours in supermarkets across the country. Now, this follows protesters from Just Stop Oil who threw tomato soup at a Van Gogh painting in the National Gallery. Is it a good way to get their point across? Because they will say, we are just trying to make people listen to us, Janet.
Well, when the tomato soup was thrown at the Van Gogh painting, I was outraged, and I put something to that effect on Twitter, and then back came the comment, it's not real vandalism. But to me, throwing anything at a valuable masterpiece that's much loved, is vandalism. But I can see people want to get their message across, but I don't think that chucking milk all over the store, the floor of a department store or groceries achieves anything. There must be another way.
I'll tell you what it achieves. It means that some already very hard-working person on a minimum wage has got to come and clear up that mess. That's what it achieves.
Yeah, these protesters do seem very pleased with themselves, especially the ones that chuck the tomato soup. Phoebe What's-it or whatever. I called them a couple of twerps, and I think that sums
But then,
up.
Colleen, they probably will say, well, people are talking about us now. We're talking about them.
That's the whole point. They've been trying to get their point across, and no one's listening. So they do something like this, and every show's talking about them, which brings your attention to the plight that they're fighting for. So do I agree with, vandalism? Absolutely not. But I understand that the only way they seem to get talked about or their issues get talked about is when they do something extreme, which is what we're doing now.
But I think I think you're right, but what this does is it alienates the public from their cause rather than brings them on board.
Yes, but maybe the public, what they should do is really research into what they're protesting about.
Because
if you see some of the stuff that I have seen, it's horrific.
Referring to animal welfare.
Animal welfare, if you see some of the videos that I have now seen, you'll be horrified. And I understand why you don't want to see them, because before I went plant-based, I used to ignore them. People would go, do you know that? And I go, I don't want to know because I don't think of it like that. And then, and I went plant-based for health mainly, and then started looking into the animal research of it. And honestly, what I saw, I can't stand it. And now I look at it because I'm interested in it. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes if people, if you look at it and go, actually, I don't care that it's been treated like that, I still want to watch it, or whatever, and that's your choice.
I think you could do that through documentaries and stuff like that. But I think throwing paint over or anything, they threw paint over the Scotland Yard sign, they threw soup over the sunflowers, but
they don't let them do documentaries because it's all controlled.
Well, there's plenty of documentaries about it.
I think, Colleen, you make a very, very good point, but in the end, it's down to personal choice. And I think as the cost of living goes up, people will care less about where their food and where their milk and what butter comes from. That's the fact of the matter, and they'll make choices dictated on price, pure and simple.
And it's criminal damage and it's aggravated trespass in the case of the National Gallery.
Well, I think you should look into what they're protesting against.
OK, well, a mix of opinions here, as we often do have on Loose Women, but that's what Loose Women is all about, discussion. We'd love to know what you think about that as well. Let us know.